All right. We're live finally. You made it to the Your Voice Talk Show. Coming to you live out of the Metro Detroit area. I'm your host, Alejandro. Say it like you mean it. We're going to get a call in tonight from Mikey Mike, our partner extraordinaire on Sundays. You'll catch Mikey Mike with me on Sunday, live at 6. And, of course, every Wednesday at 7. Give the extended intro here. Well, today we're going to cover some local stuff. We're going to talk about the stuff happening in my neighborhood, let you know what's going on this side of town, stories out of the Detroit news, some local reports you won't quite get out of the Detroit news or find there either. Found a bunch of stuff. You'd be surprised we just dig around, you know. We got so much stuff to go through here. So let's start somewhere. I'm going to start off being a little bit tired, that's for sure, especially after a long day. It's nice out today. It was like almost 80 degrees here in the metro area. I'm happy for that because I work outside all the damn time. I'll give you a studio view here. Here's me sitting here with all my stuff. Look what I got. I got a paper to go through. I got notes. I did the best I could to get ready for everyone tonight. So I hope you enjoy. I'll tell you what's going on here in Metro Detroit. Let's talk about some of those stories. A lot of gun shootings, obviously, in the news today. You know, in the front pages of the third deadliest city in the United States, Detroit. Here's you. Look at me. I got my Cheech and Chong on today. Very short. Got shorts on under the desk. Just ask Tucker Carlson about that. Maybe those are one of the. Oh, look at that. Might have been one of the texts that didn't get released for Tucker Carlson. Let's start out. Some stuff going on here today in the blues. Pick this paper up this morning. Detroit News got a bunch of stuff for us. Some crazy stuff on the headlines here. Obviously, the big story is Trump found liable for sexual abuse. What does that even mean? You either commit sexual abuse or you don't. How are you liable for it? Like, did you allow somebody to do that? The big story for sure. New York civil jury in New York found on Tuesday former President Donald Trump sexually abused and defamed E. Jean Carroll, a writer who has accused him of assaulting her in the mid-90s. I thought I heard somebody say that she wasn't very doable. Jurors deliberated for a little under 3 hours before siding with Carroll, awarding her a combined $5 million in damages. The verdict was an undeniable victory for Carroll, who testified during the trial that Trump violently assaulted her and years later unleashed further trauma by ridiculing her as a liar once she spoke out. Well, apparently he's liable. For Trump, the verdict was a striking defeat. And, of course, he's not going to claim any responsibility, it seems like, in that. I don't know if there is any to be had or not. I'm just on the outside looking in. So there's that. I'm not going to dig into that. I really don't give two shits. It's drama. It's distraction. You know, I'm not going to watch that any more than I like to be a spectator at a sports game, because I'm not much of a spectator, man. I'm going to tell you, there's three types of people in this world: those who watch what happened, those who wonder what happened, and those who make things happen. Okay. I've been accused of all three. Especially by my friends, family, and girlfriend. So there's that. Okay, back to business victories, mass need to reform. State pays high price for new factories amid policy inconsistencies. Let's see. After getting embarrassed by rivals Tennessee and Kentucky in the race for Ford Motor Company's largest manufacturing investment in nearly 120-year history, Michigan is notching some economic development wins. Well, I just did a thing on this, I think, a couple weeks ago about the about the battery thing. The battery plant here in Marshall, Michigan, is what they're referring to. Ford's partnered up with that. That's a huge. I got that story sitting right here. Hold on. That's a huge development by Ford Motor Company, and according to what I found out last week, $715 million in financial incentives for the Goshen facility, and $237 million for one of the two facilities. So let's continue on with this story here. And the paper's telling me, "Ooh, I've got the ghost behind me. Look, everything is moving." But it'll cost taxpayers running in the billions of dollars. A price for failing to deliver consistent business-friendly tax rates to improve K through 12 education performance and retain talent by keeping more college graduates close to home, strengthen the community college programs. Well, there's a lot going on with that whole thing. Like, first of all, as far as the battery plant goes, I got questions. Why is it in Marshall? How come it's not actually in Detroit, where there is infrastructure and there are employees, and there are homes, and there is places to build homes and places that need homes? Why are we building that in Marshall, in Detroit's basically, or not Detroit, Michigan's? That's the middle of Michigan. That's the farm country here. It doesn't make any sense. The infrastructure is not there. Where's the housing for 2,350 employees for that battery plant? And why are we paying for it all? Why are we incentivizing that for Ford Motor Company? It's bad enough we already pay for the roads to drive their cars on that they make all the money off of. So we pay for the roads, we pay for the cars, we pay for it all. Oxford shooter steers debate on second chances. That's another front page from the Detroit News. Crystal Gigians of Lansing, whose brother was killed by a juvenile offender in 2000, said she didn't understand why lawmakers were taking up the bills. They should think about victims. She said, he's in prison, but I'm still scared that he's going to kill me. Wow. Whose brother? So the sister's afraid that he's going to kill her. That sounds pretty odd in Oxford, Panel split on stopping lifetime sentences for offenders under the age of 19. Lansing, Michigan, lawmakers debated Tuesday whether bills seeking to prohibit those younger than the age of 19 from receiving lifetime sentences. I don't know. There's a topic. What do you think? Give me a call, 313-334-4203. What do you think about Michigan prohibiting those younger than the age of 19 from receiving life sentences? If you commit murder here in Michigan, how do you feel about that? I mean, let me tell you, this is one thing about Michigan. You got to make it to court after the murder. You feel me? You got to get to court after the murder. So if you're killing somebody in somebody's house or plan on killing somebody's house here in Michigan, you might want to plan on getting checked the lead way. So if you make it to court here in Michigan, unfortunately, in this particular case, this one did. Supporters of the proposal said they were focused on showing mercy and providing second chances for young people whose brains weren't fully developed. Okay, I can understand that. However, what did you do? I mean, how do you pay that back to society when you kill another person, especially out of like uncontrolled emotion? Your drama is justified, and you got an itchy trigger finger because it's the only way you can somehow grasp at power or control over your situation yourself. Resorting to violence isn't the way, although it can be satisfying. Whose brains aren't fully developed. That's another thing, man. If you're under 19, that's why the drinking age is 21, because the human brain doesn't even really fully develop and start to solidify as a developed organ until, the early 20s. To 21, 22 years old, your brain is pretty much done and fully formed and functional at that point. So, what do you do? So another change is coming as COVID emergency ends. Insurance won't cover the over-counter test after Thursday. Who's mandating testing? I don't even know anybody that's going to want to get tested anymore. So that's some front page stuff there after Detroit News. Nothing too big there. However, I do have some other stuff coming up. Not a lot. There's some more on the sentencing. I found this particular thing in the free press too, and it's not. It's just a recommendation that Health Panel urges mammograms at 40 biannually, 40 and over. For those of you getting mammograms, get them twice a year. You know, get checked up. And for you dudes out there, I'm going to tell you, go get a prostate. Yeah, that's right. Go have them. Gucci goo. How the hell are you? Take care of yourself. I'm ready for some. I'm ready for some visits myself. I'll tell you that. Biden congressional leaders to meet again on Debt Friday. Well, the news out today is they really didn't come to very much, and Biden pretty much did a campaign-style speech on fiscal nothingness. I'm not going to give that a lot of time either. We got bigger problems. Huh. Why don't we just have the Federal Reserve just print it off? Well, I'll just pay it. I mean, at this point, I mean, we've got so much money floating around out there anyways. I mean, can't you tell by how much you got to pay for it? I found, like, come on, man, I seen a middle of the road non-premium cake, $17 at my local, right? Carrot cake. It's a double tier, and I'm sure it was high quality and delicious, but $17 for a carrot cake? And it's not even refrigerated? Yikes. Yeah, there's your dollar at work in those Federal Reserve junk notes. There's some stuff on the Texas mall shooting. And again, I'm going to dip into Texas tonight. I'll tell you that. A lot of things going out down there that we know Title 42 is going to be ending at midnight, either tonight or on the 11th. Somewhere I read on the 11th at 11:49, the witching hour. Well, that could be tonight. I'm seeing some stuff tonight. Maybe we'll cover some TikTok videos, see what TikTok is throwing up for some real videos. And I've got some stuff, but we're going to cover Texas here in a little bit. Texas has got a lot of things going on right now that are, I think, kind of a distraction to the real issue, which is an invasion. It could potentially be happening here in a couple of hours, right? Writer of grief book charged in slaying. I don't know if anybody's heard about. I heard about this before today, and this was a woman that supposedly, well, she was charged. So allegedly, let me use that word. I guess that's the right. Is that the land, air, or sea word to use? I don't know what court of law am I in? Common law, land law, water law, air law. Where am I? Can I say alleged? I don't even know if I can say that. Allegedly, I said alleged. Salt Lake City, Utah. Is there another one? After her husband died last year, so this was started out last year, she wrote a children's book on grief. Now she's charged with the murder in his death. Corey Richins, 33. Dang, only 33. She was already tired of that. Was arrested Monday and is accused in charging documents of poisoning her husband with lethal dose of fentanyl. Their home in Camas, a small mountain town near Park City. So she's basically a Karen. The murder charges come months after Richins self-published "Are You With Me?", an illustrated storybook about a young boy wandering about his father's presence in his life after the father dies. Now, see, that's sad to begin with. She must have hated him and loved that kid. And this is exactly why women love their children more fully than men. They know the kid's theirs. The prosecutors allege Richins called authorities in the middle of the night on March 22nd to report that her husband, Eric Richins, was cold to the touch. She told officers that she made her husband a mixed drink, celebrated him selling a home. So then went to soothe one of their children in the next room. And apparently she got up sometime about 3 o'clock, called 111 and made the whole thing. Little did she know, though. But anyways, the medical examiner later found 5 times lethal dosage of fentanyl in the system. I wonder what was in the drink, huh? If she was trying to date rape this guy, it didn't work. Didn't work. You don't date rape with fentanyl, lady Corey. You don't date You don't date rape with fentanyl, okay? You spiked his drink. That could have been a rupee. You could have gotten lucky. I don't know. You must not have liked this guy. He must have been a real piece of work. Corey, I can't wait to hear your story. I mean, how much? I wonder how much alleged abuse is going to be coming out about Eric after this. I can't wait to see how this one unfolds. I'm gonna come back and touch this one again. So anyways, what happened was, to kind of make a long story short, she called 911. The coroner got there. They found him dead. The police were there. And the reason why they are charging her now finally is because she was receiving text messages and pacing around and doing all these other things when she claims to have been sleeping. And the whole time, her phone and her GPS was in her hand. So her story didn't match her phone records. What does that tell you? When your story don't match your phone records, right? I mean, maybe it's not so dystopian. Maybe it's not a dream. Maybe it's a reality. Interesting. Anyways, that is scary. Your phone will going to tell on you a lot of stuff. It's going to tell on you about a lot of stuff. And like you agree to it all. And that's what they like about these cell phones. That's why there's always the newest, latest version. Update your phone. Get a new phone. A phone now. Buy one phone, get another phone for free. We'll give you 10 phones, free government phones. So that's another story. So she got busted. None of her cell phone tracking matched her story because that cell phone should have been laying there motionless, and she would have not normally been getting texts. And they probably did some comparison text things too, like is there somebody that constantly texts her at 3 in the morning? That's the gist of that one. So yeah, she's going to get caught. She's going to get busted, and she's going to go where she belongs. Who knows how long she's going to be there? I feel for the kid. Oh, what an idiot! I should have saved that story for my dumb criminal stories tonight. I got to try and get a laugh out of some of this stuff, but we'll see how it goes. So flipping through Detroit. Here's some Metro. Here's a Metro section. Hey, look at this. Career Fair introduces Detroit kids to construction engineering. How about that? I hope they're playing with those toys at home too. I'll tell you what. I have a skilled trades job that I maintain during the day, Monday through Friday. And I'm outside all day long, and I'm climbing all day long, and I'm huffing stuff up and down all day, and I'm working physically. It keeps me in shape, right? I don't have to go to the gym or the Gym. What do you want to call it? The Gym? I want to call it the Gym. The women's Gym, the men's Gym in the Jenica. Hope me, Obi Gym. Trades has gotten me through by making me, or not making me. See, the thing I liked about the skilled trades is I just really didn't, get. I got into one solidly and into many others almost as equally as solid. Okay, I spent many years as an electrician. I'm still doing electrical work. I'm into low voltage stuff today. I'm doing a lot of building maintenance, energy controls, energy management, things like that. A lot of comm stuff, a lot of filters, a lot of skinny wires. But the diversity in the skilled trades is what has gotten me through every recession this country has seen. Being diverse. Let me give you an example of how I noticed this, right? And how I can prove this to you. Well, let's look at Krispy Kreme and let's take the co-branders, right? Let's go Dunkin' Donuts, a direct comparison. Krispy Kreme, Dunkin' Donuts, Baskin Robbins, right? Dunkin' Donuts co-branded with all the Baskin Robbins. And that gave them the diversity to have a broader market and to capture those extra sales when they needed it. As to where Krispy Kreme, you could walk in and get a good coffee and you get a good donut and you're on your way. You're not getting much more than that, if anything. And a lot of these donuts are delivered. Krispy Kreme has a central donut production center, and they kind of toss them in a truck and take them out to local gas stations and all these other little places that sell the Krispy Kreme donuts. And that kind of hurt them in times of, especially when they first got here to the metro area. That kind of hurt them because they didn't have the diversity. They were just selling coffee, and anybody else was like me. I'll drink 2 coffees a day, most cases on average. I'm a coffee drinker. I love my coffee. But the diversity wasn't there, because I don't necessarily drink a pop with my lunch. I'll have a coffee. I don't want to drink pop, or I have a water, so I'll get a sandwich and I mean, I'll have to go somewhere else. At Dunkin' Donuts, I could have went there because they offer breakfast sandwiches, lunch sandwiches, and um, ice cream, and and soups now, and like all these other things that you could go there and get in a one-stop matter of convenience, as we are in a capitalist consumer society. It's kind of using and abusing everything. Um, but that diversity is what has made me a survivor in the recessions of this country, like where I see another bubble getting ready to pop here, especially with the way the petrodollar is getting kind of booted out of everywhere, and I almost can't blame anybody for it. It's they people the reserve coupled with the IRS and yeah, no person. Well, I'm gonna say unless you make it a discipline of yours, has the time, unless you make it a discipline of yours, to study the law, which is in a way that's most advantageous to you. Can you imagine what that stack of laws and codes and from every division of court would look like in order for you to be able to navigate this country legally and know you're not getting screwed, or or not getting your due as a citizen in regards to your entitlements by being an American citizen because some other American has decided that you're just not entitled to that. One for the homies drinking that coffee. I told you. See, I ain't fooling around with coffee. So that's some more stuff there. An EMU grad is dead in a small town in a mall shooting. Eastern Michigan University graduate working as a civil engineer in the Dallas area was among the victims killed by a gunman in the mall in Texas over the weekend, officials said Monday. 26-year-old Aishwarya was one of the 8 people killed Saturday. No, that's bad news, man. See, this stuff affects the country, and this is going to be a little something else I touch on here tonight of how these things going on in Texas affect a big majority of the country, whether you want to believe it or not. The one place we're not hearing anything too much from is California. Why is that? How come we're not hearing anything out of California? As we know, flipping over to the business section of the Detroit News, uh, ex-Apple leader heads to GM software team. Oh God, now we know what's going to happen there. It's like you're going to be calling Coinstar, asking them to unlock your car, and they won't be able to. They won't be able to forget your passcode. You'll have to get some kind of warrant. Hyundai Kia theft still surged despite a fix. Wow. Hyundai Kias, huh? Hyundai's and Kia thefts still surge despite the fix. Whatever the fix is supposedly supposed to be. Bud Light angers left and right with trans marketing. Okay, here we go. I'm going to read this. This is one by Taylor Telford from the Washington Post. Bud Light, America's most popular beer, has managed to anger just about everybody. Belinda Mendoza manages Dragster, a queer bar in Seattle that caters to the kind of customer Bud Light was hoping to court with this recent partnership with trans actress and influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Ladies. But when the brand failed to stack up for Mulvaney after his Instagram and provoked conservatives' call for boycott, Mendoza says it was an easy decision to stop carrying the products from Anheuser-Busch. The brand's parent company, AB and Bev's beers, were all that popular with customers, she said, and the company has never really aligned with what I believe in. Well, gee, go figure. Anheuser-Busch is trying to deal with a backlash from partnership with trans actress and influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Some Wendy stuff, some theft stuff, which is pretty common in Detroit. 6 Mile gang member sentenced in deaths. So 6 Mile got one there. So we're gonna move over to the Free Press and see what we got. Gonna take a minute. We're gonna get some over here. And I'm going to set up a little. Come on, baby. Where are you? Going to take a quick. Oh, no, that's not the one. I'm looking for. Where are you at, sweetheart? Right here. All right. Let me send you over here.
You are listening to Your Voice, a Station 8 production. Call now to get on live. 313-334-4203. Call now. Get hard. Call now. Get hard.
Give me a call. Let me know. How's that look to you? Does that look backwards? Does it say one lock? One lock. One lock, no lock. I got a good Chinese restaurant around here. It's got lock in the name. You know what I'm talking about. Back to the studio view. That's right. Looking at a little bit of stoop in the studio today. Gonna get the big wide panoramic view over there. All right, so let's have a free press. Again, if you're watching, you've got the Your Voice Talk Show. Hanging out here tonight, going through the local stuff. Going to hit the USA Today, see what they're talking about. Of course, we got some very common things across the board here. You know, when it comes to Mr. T and the liable for sexual abuse, that's of course on the front cover. But again, like I said a minute ago, I'm not going to cover too much of that. That's just it's one of those things. It's just drama. Experts screen earlier for cancer. There's that cross story from USA Today, which I happen to have a copy of. Women should start getting their mammograms, and then we've had some fungal outbreak in a paper mill up north. The production has resumed at the Billerud Paper Mill, Michigan's largest manufacturing employer in North Midland, with more than 800 employees. Apparently, they had an infectious disease problem up there. I don't know what was going on. I didn't really cover that one. I remember hearing about it. Let's see here. Swedish-based company announced reopening Monday, closing. Blastomycosis. They had a blastomycosis problem, is what it was. So, Santos is in the nation world news. George Santos, not to be confused with George Soros. You know George Soros. You got to say it like you mean it. George Santos accused, originally nobody would say what the heck was going on with him. But 13 charges, all financial stuff. None of it like, little kids and young ladies and, private parts. Nothing like that so far. But the guy is a scumbag. We'll get to him in a minute. Stalled gun bill advances out of committee in Texas. See, more Texas stuff in my local paper. Why is that? More Texas stuff in the Metro Free Press. CMU grad killed among one of the 8 killed in the Texas mall shooting. We have a bacteria infection confirmed in 4 at school. Illness among the kids. They went through a cleaning. I think that was one of them academies or something of that nature. Second gangster received 25-year sentence for revenge killing. FBI poll cameras capture 2 Detroit gang members opening fire on a vehicle on December 1st, 2015. In today's paper. Kind of odd. Scheherazade. Again, more Trump libel. Contractor accused of fraud in Detroit. Gee, that's why it's on, what page are we on here? Like 10, 12, 8. Okay, we're on 8. Once cool Facebook now seeks to stay relevant. You can bet it seeks to stay relevant. Let me give you a little something about Facebook here. I got so sick of the atmosphere on Facebook. I got like it was so easy for everybody to not just kind of take things not so personally, man. Like you can't discuss anything on Facebook without somebody reverting to some seemingly extreme leftist tactic in order to some limp-wristed attempt to win an argument or prove a point, which we know does not work. So I left Facebook, and all out of all the days I've got banned from Facebook, right? Uh, they had to tell me a million times that they didn't like what I was saying, but I tell you what, when I finally got fed up of being told what I was saying was wrong, well, one, here I am, and two, I told Facebook and Zuckerberg to shut up, shut them off, and haven't heard anything from them. I haven't had to be told to shut up one time. No wonder why Facebook now seeks to stay relevant. Well, in the face of things that go on like TikTok, of course they do. Of course they do. Shit. I'll tell you what, if you're listening out there, give us a call, 313-334-4203, Your Voice Talk Show, coming to you out of the metro area. If you think Mark Zuckerberg was testifying in Congress because he has an app that's making him rich, I would feel like a fool if I believe that. And that's in a couple situations where I find people in going to answer for a private business practice and government. See, because here's the thing about Facebook, it's a private business. They can do whatever they want. Freedom of speech doesn't necessarily apply to a private business, but to every federal business it does. And I think this is where a lot of the it's like Gretchen Whitmer saying, fix the damn roads, I'm going to get you. And now I'm hearing there's a shortage. I don't even want to string it out by. That's a whole nother subject. People thought that Whitmer was going to fix every road, but little did they know, because ignorance of the law is no excuse. And this is why, little did they know, she could only make repairs on state roads, the roads that were the state of Michigan is responsible for. She can't fix your county roads. She's not gonna take on any of your municipal responsibilities, and people just kind of settled in on fix the damn roads and thinking every crack in the state was going to be butter smooth, and it's not. And this is what happened to Facebook. They just couldn't fix their roads. And everybody thought they were expecting this whole other situation with Facebook, and it just didn't turn out that way, because Facebook actually turned out to be the biggest, most successful Big Brother project the world has ever seen. Millions of people more than happily, hey, this is where I'm at. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Hey, this is who I'm with. And unknowingly okay with that. Click accept. I would click accept, not accept. All right, moving on. Yeah, good luck with that, Facebook. Zucker. 13 killed by Israeli strikes in Gaza. That's right. Flash your dread card. At the Gaza Strip tonight. That's right, I said dread card. Flash your dread card at the Gaza Strip tonight and open up a free checking account at the West Bank. Prosecutors attempt to prove racist intent. Post-subsergent found guilty in Texas shooting reviewed. Austin, Texas. Again, another page of Texas news in Detroit. This is why I'm going to wind up going where I'm going, and we're in the 34-minute mark. Banks report tougher credit standards after failures for who? I mean, unless you're a mortgage banker, what? Federal Reserve report Monday showed that banks raised their lending standards for businesses and consumer loans in the aftermath of 3 large bank failures and expected to lift them more this year. A trend that could slow the economy in oncoming months and increase the risk of recession. We're in recess. I know. I love recess. I had to reach over there and hit the button. I do not have my co-host here tonight, and I'm hoping to get a call from him. But Putin says on the Nation of the World News from the Free Press that the real war is with the West. And do I have to get into that to explain that? I don't know if I'm going to go there right now. That whole thing seems to be a little weird. That's the news in the Free Press. I'm going to cover some other Detroit stories. I make a point, but I think I'm gonna let that set for a momento. Let's see what we got over here. Let me grab my mic so I can move around a little bit. Let me give you a view camera too. How is that going to set? Hold on. Let's go. Let's bring that up. I'm going to move into some TikTok videos here. From good old El Paso. We're going to watch some stuff, see if we can hear it as well. Let's see what we get. All right. Just going to cover some TikToks here. Let's start out with what's this? When was this here? 3/13. So this is back. This is from March, apparently. Let's see what we got here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah. And it's just like a zombie apocalypse. It's like a zombie. Hold on, let's get Texas's tactical division. Okay, let's get some here. Yeah. Let's see. We'll see what they report the coming days. We've got some video here that maybe they might have seen. Nah, that's not a whole shitload of them though. Yeah, what's going on, man? Look at this. There's some background audio for you. May 3rd, obviously. I don't either. Let's go back. What we got here. There's some nice property. Turn this down a bit. All right. These come through really loud. Oh yeah, look at that. There's some choice property in El Paso right there. A real fixer upper. What else is going on in El Paso? 810. That must be 22. Who don't like tacos? Anyway, it's just some of the video we got here from El Paso. I have some other stuff here I can show us. Let me see. Get us out of here. Here's another collage of those couple of those videos and a couple more. Okay, let me get into this and kind of show us where we're at.
Hi America, I'm Irina Armendariz Jackson.
We
and I
just seen
wanted
this
to
one
show you
today.
also that behind me there's a camera crew.
We're gonna
from
move into a
NBC.
couple of
As you
others.
see, they have their security people with them, and this is so typical because the people that live right across the street, they don't have this kind of security. And I wonder if they're really going to report what is really happening. They should come in the middle of the night and realize all the drug use, all the prostitution that is going on right here. They come in, they report whatever they want,
And we
but
just
are they
watched
really
this
going to
one.
tell the
This is the El Paso Border Security Coalition, making and documenting all this, what's really going on, so that you don't you don't get a lie. I mean, this is obviously genuine footage of somebody trying to show the truth here, and this I know this morning they were trying to clean all of that up so that it won't be seen for a photo thing that's going on there with the governor. I don't know if Abbott's going to be there, or the sheriff and the mayor or something like this.
El Paso again in Sacred Heart. And what we found out this morning is that there is an operation to start cleaning up because tomorrow is the Border Expo, and we have Chief Ortiz and the chief that used to be here in El Paso, Gloria Chavez, that is now in Del Rio. They're coming, and I can tell you that the backdrop is going to be changed because of the fact that they're cleaning up. There was already a
gotta look good
cleanup at 4 a.m. As you can see.
Oh,
You don't
baby,
see as
you
many
look so
people
good,
as
El
we have been
Paso.
reporting.
Look what a
What
great
they're
job I'm
is
doing.
they're
I
hiding
just
the
cleaned my
evidence
room.
of the chaos that they themselves are actually
Look, my
promoting
room is
and
clean.
allowing.
Everything must
This
be
is
good.
Irina Armendariz Jackson from El Paso for El Paso.
All right, there you go. Give me a studio back. That's what's really going on down there in Texas. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen any of that stuff. Excuse me while I disappear here for a quick moment. I've got some things under my feet that require my attention. My Achtung! Let me relocate these documents. I have a hands full of documents here. The documents needs to be removed. Okay, there we go. We're getting to some removed documents. There we go. All right, I'm back. It's been pretty bad for a while down there in Texas. I think we all well know that. But I did a little bit of research today and found some stuff out. Yesterday, was that Monday? Governor Abbott takes action to secure it just takes action to secure the border just ahead. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's not like he hasn't been trying, right? I got proof he's been trying, and other people have been trying for him as well. Okay. Several border states have complained the federal government has not helped to close the critical gaps in crossing areas. Okay, let's look at the words they're using here, because right now they're calling them crossing areas. What does that mean? Define crossing area. Okay. Because I think when you use it for a bad reason, it changes the definition of what it is, and then the reasons why you're coming through could quite easily change the definition of what you call that. Is it a crossing area? That sounds like it's installed over here. Come on over here. You can come through here over this way. If you want to come through, just come and see me over here. Come on over here. Hey, you come here. This is the way in over here. In a video shared on Twitter late Monday evening, that's just a couple of days ago, the Republican governor showed the border official in Brownsville, Texas, lay barbed wire across a gap in the border that was previously exposed for migrants seeking entry from Mexico into the United States. This is one thing Texas is doing to secure the border, Abbott wrote. Well, barbed wire. Did you see it? It's like some World War I trench warfare type stuff, minus the pixie sticks and the Tinker toy. This is one thing Texas is doing to secure the border, Abbott wrote. This is the area near Brownsville where migrants were crossing in large numbers a few days ago. We're going to get to that. I just want to give you a state of the union down there in Texas. And again, the reason why I'm on Texas is because there's 5 articles in my local newspaper about Texas. How does it affect me? I'm going to tell you, it does affect me, and it affects people in this region, okay, and other regions as well, besides the Texas and Southwest United States, right? But I'm going to look into why we're not here. And, I've tried to do as much research as I can in a short period of time here. And the one thing I seems to be missing to me is like anything from California. Like California is not going to, I couldn't really come up with much other than, and I'm going to give you some other examples of what I didn't get from California. Okay. What I couldn't really find too much of with too many, with too many giveaways. Well, let's get back to what Abbott declared. I think it was Monday. Yeah, we got barbed wire going for us. This is the one thing. Let me repeat this. This is the one thing Texas is doing to secure the border, Abbott wrote. An area near Brownsville crossing large numbers a few days ago. Barbed wire. It's like barbed wire. How much is this costing for barbed wire? And I think it'd be more effective if we moved to some sort of, humanitarian effort in a way that we could vet these people. Abbott said, we now have it wired shut. It's wired shut. Texas wired shut. Texas been wired shut. Texas finally been wired shut on Monday. Texas got wired shut. Finally got wired shut. Got wired shut. I mean, it's just wired. It's wired shut. Even though we've got all the lighting for a huge section of border, all the materials, more fencing, just laying out there in the Texas desert, catching rays. But we got wire. We put wire up down there. We sealed it real good with some sticky foam and shit. This all seems like such a half-ass effort to me. I don't know how else to put it. It really does. It seems like a seriously limp-wristed attempt. Like I couldn't think of a better way to throw a Band-Aid on a GSW. Jeez, oh, Pete. More to come, the Texas governor promised. Really? Oh, my God, I can't wait. I better go get my popcorn. Barbed wire appears. I know, wasn't she? What movie was barbed wire in? Appears to be only a minor. What? Oh, wait, let me finish reading. A minor deterrent to those wishing to enter the U.S. Oh, wow. Like as soon as you would have brought the idea up to me, would have got an immediate veto. Barbed wire. That's an actress. Photos and videos of different areas of the border show migrants crossing barbed wiring by using blankets and clothing to cover the sharp edges. Oh, that's awesome. That was a good idea. And you could even see the transmission. The barbed barricade comes as the Biden administration failed to deliver congressional funds. Bullshit. Oh, I was just going to say this. Biden administration has failed to deliver congressional funds approved under the Trump administration. What? Baba Booey. To bolster border security. Like when you take a sharp corner and your leg does not going to slide off the seat, or maybe your shoulder won't hit the window this time or click into your passenger when you make a hard left or right. That's bolstered security. Several border states have complained the federal government has also failed to assist them in closing critical gaps in areas along the border. Well, let's just get right to it. Border crossings have escalated in recent weeks. Yeah, I'll say. Wait till I read you some stats because we're coming up on some Texas stats. I'm gonna really dive into this. Migrants have been gathering by the thousands near different sections of the wall, including in El Paso, as they wait for Title 42 to expire on Thursday. So 11:42 tonight. It's Wednesday night, and we might be doing some other stuff here because this could be a breach. I'm this is but from what I've seen on a lot of this footage and from what I'm catching around, like there's a lot of criminals. There's a lot of people who are more than willing to commit criminal activity, violent criminal activity, coming in this mix of people. Like we don't even know who we're letting in. And apparently Biden has orders to just check in with an app. You know, we'll give you a court date. Just come on in. And these people are not necessarily coming through the front door. I mean, there's so many other people from so many other countries here that just don't do this. They aren't doing this. You know, and the way I consider this is, to me, it's very invasion-esque. I'm not going to tell you any different. It feels like an invasion. It really does. Because, you know, I could see a neighbor coming to my front door and knocking on my door. Do I got one of those? I do. I bet you I do. I bet. Here it is. All right, it's coming. You ready? Oh, is that somebody knocking? You hear somebody knocking? Oh my God, who is that? Who is that? Let me go open. Let me go open the door. Oh, hey, look, it's Mexico. What's up, Mexico? What's up, Guatemala? What's up, Venezuela? Hey, senor, we would just like some help if you would please assist us. Oh, sure, man. Let me throw my shoes on. I'll be out in a minute. But no, these guys are trying to climb through my window, okay, while I'm still home. That's my problem here. Like, to me, those are criminals, right? When compared to how all the other nations have people here and how those people managed to get here. And I'm sure they all got driver's license somehow. These border jumpers, these people have no regard for or even self-dignity, right? Like I could not lose my self-respect. I could not lose my self-respect enough to ask a country to take me in, but then demand that I come in like a fool. Like a fool. You're not going to catch me coming to your country that way. You're either going to let me in through the front door after I knock, or I'm just going to go home. Okay? And if I'm going to your country, it's not because I'm running from my own mess. Okay? That I'm not going. If I'm coming to your country, it's because I want to spend money. I want to enjoy your culture. I want to see your sights. I want to smell your smells. You know, I want to hear your language. I want to see the beaches, the shops. I want to experience where I go. Right? I want to eat with my fingers where I go. You know, I don't want to get a free government cell phone and then realize that the homeless problem in America is ridiculously, needlessly huge. Right? And wait to hear some of these numbers. We got more numbers coming in here. In regards to how many people are actually pouring into this country, honestly, through Texas. And it's getting even worse. Tonight could be the zombie apocalypse at the end of Title 42. Title 42 was a public health order signed under former President Donald Trump in 2020, and its expiration is expected to give way. Now, they say to Abbott says to a large surge of immigrants. Okay. And I find that kind of funny, obviously, because I think it's going to be a little more than just a large surge. But that order gave the border officials the authority to deny and/or relocate due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So that Title 42 gave immigration and naturalization and DHS and all these border agents and anybody anybody with anything to do with that type of people movement, gave them the power to send you home due to COVID. And I know there was a lot of people. Greg Abbott also texted May 8th. Texas is responding to chaos caused by the Biden ending by Title 42. So the new Texas Tactical Border Force will help intercept and repel migrants trying to enter Texas illegally. Okay, I don't know if that's what's going on down there right now. What are these guys doing? Somebody says, some reports say they're there to do processing. I think they're there to actually sign for the package. But Biden sent 1,500 package signers down there. They're waiting for Amazon, I think. Amazon be delivering. The White House most recently said it would veto border enforcement bill from the Republican House majority, would restrict asylum requests and construct a physical border wall. Yay! Biden, build back better. Build back butter. On May 8th, Abbott, another tweet at 9:30, he added, for the last 2 years, Operation Lone Star has helped fill the dangerous gaps created by Biden's open door policy. Look, let me say something about Texas. Isn't that also a state border? Does the state of Texas have a responsibility in maintaining that border, or is it just the federal government? Because I'm kind of lost there. I don't understand what's going on there, but I'm going to look into that and try and clean that up, because it's one of the questions I think that for anybody that doesn't really know, this should be a question that we all have of whose responsibility is it? You know, is it a shared burden because it's Texas state? It's a state of Texas. That's a state border as much as it is a federal border, an international line. Okay. So I don't really know where Texas authority and responsibility end. And at this point, the words they're using on this whole situation tells me that Title IV the government's duty to protect from invasion will never be able to be fulfilled. And the fact that he's sending 1,500 troops down there to capture illegals that are just busting through, or process maybe the ones that are coming through at the gate, willing to be processed. See, because the thing is, like, the ones that are willing to be processed are probably the ones that we're looking for. They're probably the ones that we really want to accept. Meanwhile, we got all these fence jumpers, right? These people just want to get in and disappear and do their deed. They want to, there are probably a lot of MS-13 heading to California, take advantage of that shit. In addition to a number of migrants crossing the border, Abbott Republicans in border states have railed against the prevalence of deadly fentanyl, which primarily makes its way into the U.S. from Mexico. Over 385 million deadly doses have been seized by border officials over the last 2 years alone under Texas Operation Lone Star by itself. Okay, fentanyl was just used by this Corey lady. Remember how she just poisoned her husband with fentanyl and got busted on her cell phone when getting her stuff, and the drug dealer got busted too, and he told on her because they found his ass thanks to her phone. Title 42, in summary, Title 42 is a public health order that was adopted 3 years ago by the Trump administration because of the COVID pandemic. It allows border agents to automatically turn away migrants without documentation at the border, even those seeking asylum. That's what's lifting. That's why everybody's jockeying for position to get bust through. So y'all bust through. Yeah, we're going to bust through that way. Oh, hello. Keep knocking because you can't come in.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know you didn't like that, did you? But anyways, the order is expected to expire on Thursday, May 11th, 2023. That's 11:59 tonight. Okay. Now, to go with this, to kind of round the picture out a little bit, right? Let me go here. Let me give you how we got here, right? This is the House of Representatives Subcommittee on National Security, joint with the Subcommittee on Government Operations Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. This meeting was on March 23rd, 2016. Okay. 2016, 7 years ago. 7 years ago. Okay. Here's what the border looked like 7 years ago. Okay. And I've got some other, I got some year by year, skipping year breakdowns. Every few years, I got some numbers together. But The subcommittee on national security and the subcommittee on government operations will come to order without objections. Authorized. The United States confronts a wide array of threats at its borders, ranging from terrorists seeking to harm the United States to transnational criminals smuggling drugs and counterfeit goods to foreign nationals entering illegally in entering illegally in order to work in the United States unlawfully. America's border ports are busy places every year. Tens of millions could cargo, hundreds of millions lawful travelers enter the country, while tens of thousands of illegal cargo entry seized. Hundreds of thousands of unauthorized migrants are arrested or denied entry. Some of this is gibberish. I'm trying to get to some points here about the situation in 2016. A lot of this, I don't want to go through a bunch of the the drawn out stuff and all the embellishments that they use. So I'm just kind of skipping through this meeting, and I'm going to just kind of go through the highlighted stuff and pull out some numbers so we can take a look at the situation in 2016. So at the same time, hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants evade detection to enter the United States unlawfully, and thousands of kilograms of illegal drugs and other contraband are smuggled into the country. Right? Recent terrorist attacks in Europe. This was at the time we had some stuff going on in France, and they transformed Europe's migration crisis and security debate. If you remember, there was a time when not too long ago when Europe had a Middle Eastern invasion, a huge displacement from Middle Eastern part of the Eastern Hemisphere, and they all went up and through Europe and everything, and that's what they're referring to there. So, but concerns about the borders not limited to Europe. A recent report state the U.S. and Customs Border Protection has apprehended several members of known Islamist terrorist organizations crossing the southern border in recent years. So that's pre-216. Okay, in previous recent years. This was March 23rd. This is what I'm reading from. Is out on 2016. In recent years, the Texas Department of Public Safety has reported that border security agencies have arrested several Somali immigrants crossing the southern border who have ties to Al-Shabaab, the terrorist group that launched the deadly attack on the Westgate shopping mall in Nairobi, in Kenya, as well as other Somali-based groups, including one founded by Osama bin Laden. Not only founded, but probably funded as well, too. The Texas DPS stated that it had come into contact in recent years with special interest aliens who come from countries with known terrorists or where terrorist groups thrive. Okay. And all the immigrants, 30 in other countries, Asia, and Middle East, have been arrested over the past few years. Now, the committee obtained information from the Customs of the Border Protection that confirms thousands of Indians, Chinese, Bangladeshi, Sri Lankans have been apprehended at our borders in fiscal years 14-15 and the first quarter of 2016. And this is at the end of that first quarter in March. Okay. Or somewhere just about the end. 23rd March. So that's the end of the first quarter of March, where we got these numbers and where we're at. This data also shows individuals have sought to enter the United States illegally from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Syria, Turkey, and beyond. Okay. And one potentially vulnerability that such individuals could attempt to exploit our nation's generous asylum system. Okay. And that's another thing here, too, because it's very easy to come in under the cloak of asylum. You know, any committed individual is going to come in under the cloak of asylum, going to weave themselves into a society, disappear, and do what they're going to do. Okay. Especially anybody that's trained. So that's one of the bigger problems. And that's where we're at in 2016, 2015, right? You know, and a lot of this is leaving us open, and they're supporting documentation within our government as well, and cross-referenceable across the various agencies to kind of put that all in perspective. But kind of in ending here, as reported by United States Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, we are witnessing the largest global forced displacement of people since World War II. This is 2016. I think it's getting a little bit better. Or bigger, I should say, not better. I don't know if that's getting any better, especially now. Now it's time for us to do this on this side of the world, right? Conflict, persecution, violence, and flagrant human rights violations have forcibly displaced nearly 60 million people worldwide, including 19.5 million refugees, 38 million internally displaced persons and 1.8 million asylum seekers. That is a 60% increase from 37.5 million displaced people recorded by UNHCR 10 years ago. So about 2006 or so. Over 50% of the refugee population is now made up of children below 18 years of age, making the highest child refugee figure in more than 10 years. In 2014, over 34,000 asylum applications were submitted by unaccompanied or separated children. This is back in 2016. I mean, think about that. You've got 34,000 unaccompanied children. What happened to those kids in 2016? Not good. 85,000 missing recently. Somebody reported. We don't know where those kids are at. It's no wonder things like this are happening in Texas. You know, when everybody realized that Newsom was not an adult. He's a dolt. Capital D, dolt. Governor Newsom driving California into the ground. At one time, California was an economic powerhouse, third largest economy in the world. Wasn't it something like that? Driving home the dollars, doing the international trade on a grand scale, the biggest port in the country. California had it going on at one time, man. Beautiful landscape in the 70s, man. The Brady Bunch made me just want to go to California. Who didn't want to go donkey riding in the Grand Canyon? You know, who didn't want to wipe out on a salty surf at Muscle Beach? You know, I think everybody in the 70s had California dreaming going through their mind, you know, for sure. But, you know, when in Texas now, as I started diving into stuff, I started looking at some other things, and I found out, into Texas, the state Texas government. And there's a couple of reasons why I bring California up here. And but like I said, we're not hearing anything from California in regards to the migrant crisis. They're not really crying about it, but these things kind of keep happening to Texas, simply for things like this, because I'm going to tell you what's happened to Texas. When everybody left, like most of those U-Hauls went to Texas, right? My U-Haul went to Texas. House Bill 4419. State Rep Craig Goldman, Republican from Fort Worth, would expand the definition of event under the Major Events Reimbursements Program to include film or television reproduction benefits to Hollywood. Okay. According to Goldman, this bill will provide hundreds of thousands of jobs and millions of dollars in revenue to our state. You know, we tried that here in Michigan, didn't we? Look what happened. However, House Bill 4019 is estimated to have a negative impact on Texas taxpayers in the amount of $127.4 million over the millennium, and an increasing amount above $70 million every year thereafter. So basically, it's like, we are going to pay for Hollywood to come and make their movies in Texas, and they're going to come and stay there. And then they're going to vote there, and they're going to move in there, and they're going to vote there. And then they're going, what's happening there in Texas? And I see why. And I'm going to tell you, there's more stuff like that going on. And that's okay for Texas, because I don't live there. But I tell you, the problem for me is that it is an international border, much like Michigan. Okay. Michigan also is an international border. And with what's going on down there, that's kind of scary. What if it happens here in some capacity? And what if that tonight, when the clock strikes midnight, man, is that going to be some kind of zombie apocalypse? Is it going to be a riot? Are they going to start attacking our guys? Are guys even going to be able to defend themselves down there amongst all them, in Texas? So, yeah, it affected Texas. And what's going on? These people are all spreading out at some point, right? They're all going somewhere. They're all doing something. What does that mean? I'm looking for Mom. Let me get you a whole studio shot for whoever's watching. Honey, I love you. That's for you. Look at me. You got me right there. I got me right here. And I got right there. And right here. and one for the homies. It's we're drinking some. It's a Canadian company that I like. It's my favorite stuff. I know it's a trick and it's in the creamer. I understand that. I'm okay with it. Listen, enjoy. Coffee. It'll keep you going even when you're ready to not do anything. There's coffee. Computer stop working? Just pour coffee on it. Tell it to get back to work and have a great day. Ha ha. Coffee. Yummy. So yeah. So since 2016, the House committees on all these things, the state of Texas has been crying for help and funding. And not only Texas, but the other two states that border there. Okay. Now just imagine what's going on in other places. You know, all the other stuff that we're not hearing, because there's the Gulf there as well, too. But all we're hearing about is the land stuff. We're not hearing about the water stuff. And who knows if there's any air stuff, right? You know, low flying stuff coming in. Guys have DeSantis, Abbott have made it a point. And I don't know why so much DeSantis, even though, because who knows, right? But they're, you know, where are these refugees going to wind up going? And I'll tell you where. Abbott's been sending them to sanctuary cities. That's where. By the busload. Yep. And probably, you know, again, you know, what's hidden amongst the crowd? You know, look, when you go to a concert, they have security for a reason. Okay. It's because even people in your neighborhood, they try to do no good in your neighborhood, right? You go to a concert, everybody wants to sneak in something. You wouldn't believe what the bin looks like at the end of an entry. You know, like yeah, the ability, the cover. It's running for cover. You're mixing in with, like, you know, okay, let's do this. Let me give you an analogy. I want to. Oh, let's say I want to. I don't know. I want to sneak some chocolate chips into. I want to sneak some chocolate chips into my buddy's tummy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bake a cake and I'm going to melt chocolate chips in it, and then I'm going to let him eat it, and the chocolate chips are going to jump out after he eats it. Relaxed asylum program. Both the Republican Party of Texas and the Democratic Party of Texas call for the abolition of corporate welfare programs in their party platforms. As lawmakers grow bolder and bolder with growing government and handling woke corporations' money they stole from the taxpayer, it's becoming obviously that the only way to stop them going forward is a primary, you know, we must remove these big government lawmakers. And that's the end of the 88th legislative session. But Texas is even had Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who's on, I think, until the 23rd this month. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot issues an emergency declaration on Tuesday in response to illegal immigrants being sent to her city by Texas Governor Abbott. Right? Like, that doesn't surprise me one bit. Why would she, you know, but I think she's kind of ready for it. I think she's looking for it because, you know, when you do this kind of stuff, it's dollars. You know, it's federal dollars. It's like, you know, get the head count right in school. You know, that way we can maximize the money. You know, that's what I say. Ooh, can you hear that clicky? Let's get a little bit of background going. What do you say? Let's go back here, and I'm going to carry on with this Lori Lightfoot because, you know, like I said, this bleed off from Texas is affecting not only Texas, it's affecting, again, the other two states surrounding. It's affecting Chicago. It's affecting New York. And has anybody heard what's going on in New York? Right? I'm hoping to find out. So that's about it. And we're going to cover that in just 1 second. Going to get a little background going. So back to it. Take a sip for the homies. Coming up on the hour 15. It's Wednesday, May 10th. And Title 42 is ending tonight. In the middle of covering the Texas border story. I don't know if you were here for the video. I know one of you were. Here for the video. What's really looking like down there? Maybe we can run that back up later. Going on about another 45 minutes tonight. And so anyways, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot issued an emergency declaration for the arrival of 48 migrants on Tuesday. 48. There's already got a lot more than 48, though. According to the press release, which states that the city and the state have provided emergency care for over 8,000 migrants since August of 22. She goes on to say, quote, we should all understand that the city crisis will likely deepen before we see it get better. So as we move forward, the city of Chicago will have to bring additional locations online to prepare for the arrival of more of the individual immigrants and families to release Chicago Police Department districts to relieve, Lightfoot's office said the city of Chicago is in the midst of a national humanitarian crisis. You're all the way in Chicago. How'd you get in the midst of that, Chicago? Oh, yeah. And through a unified effort in accordance with its values as a welcoming city, Chicago is doing everything it can to respond to the urgency of this matter. The city has continued to call on federal and state governments to support new arrival missions with much needed additional funding and resources for emergency shelter and resettlement. Chicago leadership has boldly advertised the city as a sanctuary city for more than 5 years, despite not having adequate resources to house immigrants. So no wonder why it's a problem, right? So what's happened there? It's going to happen. Same thing that's happening in New York. So this is what's going on in Chicago. So what's happening in Texas is affecting Chicago, right? And even though Abbott's sending them there, I guess Chicago's doing what they can to keep them, because they want the vote. What else would you do? Because these migrants are going to come and they're going to be living in the south side because they can't afford, the north side. Just saying. Oh, 15th. She's out in 5 days. Lightfoot, who's only in office until May 15th, also reserved the authority to request the mobilization of the Illinois National Guard to address this influx of migrants. The state emergency declaration comes just days before Title 42 is set to expire, right? And it's expected to cause a surge of migrants across the United States, reaching all the way to New York, as we heard that already. Lori Lightfoot sent a letter to Abbott in late April, just a few days ago, probably a couple weeks ago, pleading with him to stop sending migrants to the sanctuary city. It's a sanctuary city. That's a hard one. That's hard. Call yourself a sanctuary city and then say stop sending migrants. I guess if you're claiming asylum, then you are looking for a sanctuary city. Lightfoot, so nearly all the migrants have been in dire need of food, water, and clothing. Well, look, clothing. I've never seen so many fresh ass Nikes in my life. Right? I've never seen so many new pairs of shorts and t-shirts and haircuts. Right? I'm not seeing a lot of scrapes and bruises. I'm not seeing torn jeans. I'm not seeing a lot of things on a lot of people. See, it's like the COVID thing for me, right? See, I pay attention to I observe my surroundings, okay? And the one thing, the reason why I'm going to compare this to COVID is because what's missing, all right? I'm going to tell you what's missing, and let's compare this to COVID. I'm going to compare COVID to, I'm going to give you an analogy of COVID being a birthday party. You get the invitation, you get to wear a costume, especially a mask, okay? You go through all this. You go out to Party City. You go out to get your costume and make sure you got the perfect mask for your birthday party that you got invited to. And Mr. C says, it's going to be a great time. Show up. Make sure you wear your masks. And so you go through all this. You go out in your best mask. right? It matches your belt. You get to the house where the party's supposed to be at the time it's supposed to start, and you knock on the door. And you knock on the door, and you call your buddy, and you knock on the door, and you call your buddy, and you're like, all right, hold on, let me look in the window, see what's going on. Am I early? Yeah, I'm here at the right time. It's the right day. What the heck? Hold on. One for the homies. In case you don't know me, you should have knew me. You start looking at windows. Great. What? It's a birthday? Am I at the right? There's a birthday party here? There's nothing in the house. There's no cake. There's no chairs. There's no decorations. There's no lights. There's no gifts. There's no presents. There's no music. There's no chairs. Right? There's nothing there at this birthday party. And it's kind of it's just kind of a lie in that sense, and that's how this is. It's just a bunch of empty manipulation, like COVID was, in a sense. Can I say that? Can I still say that? Will they air that? I don't know. They probably have an algorithm that catches the C word and will completely omit it. Okay. Now in New York City, it's crazy. The world's tallest Holiday Inn, book solid. 50 floors of the Holiday Inn. I think they got charging $190 a night. This is going to be $1 million every 10 days. At full capacity, that would amount to $93,500 a day, or an estimated $10.5 billion through May 1st, 2024. Who's flipping that bill? You are. You're flipping that bill. The terms of the contract weren't announced. So this is how this is affecting New York too, right? And I'm going to dig into this some more and find out what's going on again. New York is calling it a humanitarian response. Again, to a city that claims to be a sanctuary city, and they're actually driving this themselves by making those proclamations. You might as well light a flare and just yell over here. So you kind of got that. Now, see, when this drops out on May 1st, 2024, those rooms are going to shoot to $790 a month or something like that. It's another thing I was reading. That's not in this particular report. But that's what's going on in Texas. Boy, it took me a little while to get through that. And it's going to change later on tonight. So we'll see what's going on with that. I'm going to be looking for updates on the local news. I'm sure it's like if you remember sitting home watching Operation Desert Storm, or watching the space shuttle blow up, or watching any of those things on the TV as a young person in America growing up, or a younger person, I should say, in my regard. You know what it feels like to then kind of see how this Texas thing is going to build. Because the way the migrants are ramping up down there, and the way we're not ramping up down there, right? And the way this has been an ongoing problem, right? Like in 2016, 2017, our immigration numbers, our detention numbers, our apprehension numbers were incredibly low, under 1,000. And then after 2020 is when they started exponentially increasing. And it's well documented. You can look it up. It's public information. The Pew Research Center will give you some of that. This is where I get a lot of my numbers from. Again, a verifiable source there with Pew. Fair and objective statisticians, I might say. And they've done pretty good with that, So that's my topic for tonight. If you've got a topic, give me a call. 313-334-4203 if you're listening. So yeah, we cover Detroit, some Detroit stories. I'm going to get to a couple of more of those. Free Press, Detroit News, some stuff in the USA Today, and kind of got a good view. Hopefully we all learned some stuff. I know I did, looking into this Texas border thing and what's going on, and how long it's been a problem for the United States and the United States government and Texas and the other bordering states. And everybody in our government's just been a drag ass about it. They've been complaining about this for we're coming up on a decade. This has been a serious issue. right? And then Abbott's got the 1,500 troops down there putting up barbed wire. Yay, we got barbed wire. We got barbed wire. Yay. You know, come on, give me the yay. Where's my yays at here today? Huh? Yeah. Barbed wire. Barbed wire. Right? I know. We got some barbed wire up, everybody. Barbed wire. Yes, right. I'm not going to give any accolades for barbed wire. You got to give me a break on that one, man. That's, like I said, that's Abbott. That's a limp-wristed. Governor Abbott and everybody at that committee meeting knew this has been an issue for a long time. I think it's a state border. I think Abbott had a responsibility long before the federal government did to ensure that this stuff was secure because it is a state border. I could be wrong. I don't know what the laws are completely there and if it would even matter at that point when you have the resources to protect your own community, let alone the rest of the country, right? You're a governor on an international border state. You have a higher obligation. And I'm not going to apologize and follow that up with an I'm sorry, but you haven't. No, I'm not sorry. It's the truth, right? As for me, my ethics and my code for being the governor of a state would entail that level of protection for my citizens, man. I'm going to take ownership at that point. I'm going to take personal accountability for my people. I don't want my Southern Texas ranchers being threatened by cartel. I don't want them being threatened by violent criminals that creep in the night on your property. Again, if you're coming across the border in that capacity, you're coming through my bedroom window, right? And that's not acceptable. Knock on my front door, and that's not happening down there in Texas. Hasn't been happening for a long time. Our government agencies have been dragging their feet, haven't been putting any money towards it. Now look what we got coming here tonight at midnight. It's kind of concerning. I don't know what else to say about that. What do you do? But we're going to get to some funny stuff tonight, I hope. And be good with that. So I'm gonna set us up for a couple of minutes. Station identification thingamajiggies here. See what we get. Again, trying to produce the show, run the show, be the show. You know. Whoa! Yeah, that was nice and loud. There we go. Oh, that wasn't it either. I was hoping to get a call from Mikey Mike tonight. Must be caught up. And that's okay, because we'll see him Sunday anyway. Unless, wait a minute. Nope, that wasn't him. Yeah, we'll see him Sunday anyway. Mikey Mike on the Your Voice Talk Show with me, your host, Alejandro. Say it like you mean it. Don't forget to roll your R's, right? So, coming along. Where's my stuff at? Where's my stuff? Oh, let me reach across the desk and get my stuff. Oh, man. All right. Enough of the stress. All right. I'm tired of being stressed out over what's going on in this crazy messed up world today, man. I'm telling you. I've been out there all day today. And now I'm here at home finally where it's nice. But we got some Detroit stuff. We got some dumb criminal stuff I want to cover. Maybe we can get a good laugh before we get to the sad stuff again, because it's like, it's so easy in Detroit to get a gun story. It's such a prominent thing. Like I found stuff that wasn't even mentioned in the hey, we got somebody in the chat here. Let me get in there with them. We'll call this one Mr. CD MK. We'll give him a yo. Welcome to the show, MK. How you doing tonight, man? Glad to see you on with us. Talking about the Texas situation. I don't know if you caught any of that. You get in the studio view tonight. I'm alone. Alejandro, you're ghost, because I'm gonna be ghosting here in a little while. That's for sure. And just covering the stuff. So went through the news just to give everybody kind of a quick catch up. Went through Detroit news. Compare it with some stories in the free press, a bunch of similar stuff. Trump taking the front page headlines, of course, being liable for sexual abuse, whatever that means. I don't know. Give me the dictionary. covering the Texas story. He made a couple of comments in relation to Detroit's battery situation, which in some respect could be what's going on and as far as the border goes and all the types of things happening down there and all the things coming across. But let's move into some funny shit. How about that? I want to try and see if we can get you guys to laugh for a minute, right? I got a funny story tonight. I just kind of searching the funny stuff. I was kind of wore out, and here's a few of the things I found. Apparently, cops say they searched for porn. He was staring at it. Alan Neil Thur of Georgia wasn't exactly sly, authorities say. Okay, this is a story from a new staff writer. I didn't get what publication it was out of, but to summarize, it wasn't hard to find child pornography during a search of a Georgia man's home. Isn't that the Bible Belt? Y'all living down there, according to the police, because he was looking at it on his computer when they broke in. Could you imagine that? I wonder if it was nutting. Like, open the door, please! Ah! That's pretty sick. So at least he got caught. This guy got busted, and he got busted red-handed. Dare I say it? Looking at his computer after receiving a tip from a National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the 75-year-old Alan Neil Thur had uploaded child pornography to a search engine. Sheriff's deputies arrived at his Gainesville home for a search on Tuesday, per the Gainesville Times. The Gainesville Times. As deputies carried out the search Thursday, Thur was viewing 5 images of child pornography. Should I be saying CP? On his computer. The Hall County Sheriff's Office said that per WSB, Thur, who was facing 2 accounts of SE of a minor, was charged with additional 5 counts following the search. He was held in Hall County Jail without bond. I'm not reading any more of that. Dumb Criminal 1. Good heavens, man. You might as well. I think they fucking busted him, and the dude had no idea it was being watched. Here's something a little smarter, like, could you imagine being just a little bohemian for a minute? Look, I got my Cheech and Chong gear on tonight. You see that? Represent the Cheech, the Chong. Giving you the studio view. Give us a call, 313-334-4203. Your Voice Talk Show. I got 6% battery.